Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? How are you? How is everyone? Come in, come in, come in, come in. We are live and we are just getting things hooked up just a little. I know Sister Eve is somewhere around here, and oh yeah, she's in Twitter. So let me get thinking I'm gonna hear from her somewhere else, and she's already out there. She's ahead of the game with all them children. Let me get in here. Yes, we're a little early today. We are very early today. Very different time, but this is cool. Uh, this is not made for kids. There's six of you. How are you, Brother Mark? How are you? I'm about to get down with Sister Eve, and she's already started on hers. I'm about to start moving all of mine. Uh, Today we worked really hard to promote this. So let me just go ahead and get this on the live. And we're good. We're good. Let me see. Let me get with Sister Eve. Make certain I got a source for my backup line here. Uh-oh. Okay. I think I see what I did wrong. But I think I have another charger, so that's good. So just hold on. Just bring another thing in here. Just 1 second. These things happen when you least expect. Hold 1 second. Hmm. Put you there. Just have to keep this power up in here. A station is like black people. We got to have some power up in here. Okay, back. Brother Mark, I'm glad you're good. Get ready. I'm about to bring Sister Eve in. And let me see. I'm about to hit this go live button here. How is everyone? Greetings to you. I don't know who it is, but we moving. Make certain that I got that. Okay. Let me get with Sister Eve. And hey, Brother Bruce, thank you for your message. That was a trip the other day. That wasn't me. A lot of people don't really want to, I don't know what it is. Some people seem to be afraid to really deal with what's going on here. It's very important for people to be real, right? So let me see. I've got to find where they put Eve. You have no idea when we do these things, that's when everything disappears. You can't find people's lives. If you actually, all of a sudden, everything disappears. So I'm trying to find her. And I don't know if she's, sometimes they have problems with their spaces. Just when you think you've got this thing done, no matter how much time you spend, the more time you spend, the harder it is to find people. If I can't find her in a second, wait a second, where is she? And I may have to shut one of these down. This happens the second someone tries to do things through. This is saying I can't retrieve messages at this time. Now all of a sudden I can't retrieve messages. I need to close this one here. Whoever's here on this particular channel, um, Trying to think. Well, if there's nobody here, let me see. Someone just came here. You need to go to my other channel, whoever just came on here, because they're not letting me find Eve. So I'm going to close this real fast. I apologize. Uh, the minute you think you have something figured out, if you give people advance notice, like when you try to get to a critical number, what happens is that you don't, if you tell people you're going to go live, then you can't find anybody. Okay, here we go.
Quote unquote the community, but what community? You have to start asking questions like that. But they are 100% aligned with white supremacy and literally are doing the work for pennies. Like, have
Pennies.
to shit on us for free, I guess.
Yes,
I guess that's what they like. They like to take a big hot shit on us, and that is worth more than actual dollars. That's why you got people out here saying that they don't need reparations, because they've gotten reparations with their education or whatever position that they were able to get to. Peace, Dr. Short. Welcome. Fannies are for sale around here. Hi, Fani, but go ahead.
Sister Eve, I'm sorry I'm behind. I know you've seen that I've been plugging this all over the net. But the minute I tried to find your show, all of a sudden the phone I wanted to come in through Kuna Bomber. All of a sudden it told me there was no signal. Now this thing has worked for 5 hours straight. And then the minute I started trying to find you, I couldn't get your link. So I had to shut down a live on this particular line to get to you. So thanks. It's wonderful being with you again. Everybody, on behalf of all of the different things, the Coon Busters, the Angry Black Men's Book Club, and our Wazi affiliates and auxiliaries, and of course, Salt Ministry, we are happy. I mean, my title is Fani, Hoes for Sale, Hoes in High Places are Tricks for White Races. And I heard you, we haven't even really talked that much, but we already know what's happening here. And it's for practically nothing. Um, and, I'm going to just say to you, we're coming up, March? Pretty soon it'll be April. And I mean, the stories, what I was talking about in Salt Ministry, we're talking about, and I'm going to revisit it, is the people who were against the Hebrews. A lot of people out here saying, okay, we have some connection to the Hebrews and the Old and New Testament in the Bible. Well, if we do, we have a lot of things in common, in particular, wicked, ungodly, traitor leadership that's degenerate, that is anti-people, anti-God, man. And you just keep saying this. This is a systematic thing of people who would do anything for money or to fit in. I mean, and so everybody's familiar with the story of Judas, the man that sold Jesus Christ out for 30 pieces of silver, which couldn't have been that much. And you got this now. You have people who are immoral. They are degenerate. They are godless. They are filthy. They are wicked. They hate whatever is good. And they're all over the place. And a lot of them these days, I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of them are female. It seems to be this thing about them. Part of their black girl magic thing is to be against everything that existed for, limited pay. I mean, I'm thinking about Fani Willis, and I'm thinking about the fact that, lady, you're buying men. I mean, you've got a DJ. You did kind of do an upgrade, but it was someone else's husband that you're bothering, and you're paying them all of this money for them to take you on trips. And Literally, you go to a foreign country, you don't even know anything about the country that you're being screwed in. Ladies, when y'all think people are trashing you, what if he had turned out to be a psycho and he pulled a knife and she didn't know who he was for real? She wouldn't have even known where to run to. She's so reckless with her personal lust and desire to get in bed with someone. She doesn't even know where Belize was. I mean, just sit down and ask yourself, what kind of state of mind are you in that you would fly to a country where you didn't even know what it was in order to have some sex? It, I mean, I I get the lust. I get the you're gonna get over and get something that's not yours, but there was no concern about what if you get stuck? What if it's hurricane season? What if they have earthquakes? What if you need malaria shots? You just, hey, the public is paying for me to screw a colleague. And I get on the plane and I'm just going. If he's there and I'm going to get me some action, so what? And what's even more disturbing is how cheap and degenerate these churches are. To have her, she got an award from an Adventist church. She's been taken around to all these churches as if she stands for something. Now, I just want to stop everybody and go in a different direction. In Atlanta, in Atlanta, uh, and in the around Georgia, I mean, you've got prisoners dying by the dozens, people eaten to death by bed bugs. Literally, and these are mostly black men, people arrested for years without being charged, dying in the system, and she's there. While she enriches herself representing justice, there are literally people convicted without committing, being convicted of committing a crime, and they die. Someone can just get picked up and die, get raped, get killed, get slaughtered. And she's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to screw a colleague. And she's the person that they pick to go after Donald Trump on the RICO statute. And you just round up everybody without any real basis. And that's one thing. So literally, you're part of a system. Georgia has very backward, racist, unjust laws. You haven't done anything to fix any of them other than uphold them. And then two, you're in partnership with the very people that are engaged in voter suppression and denying rights to Black Americans. And that's why they've looked the other way when you've stolen money to have sex with other people's husbands.
Let's break down those numbers real quick, though, Dr. Short, because as you were talking about it, I found it to be important to make the math. According to the Atlantic Journal Constitution, death toll sets new records amid staffing crisis at Georgia prisons, and they're basically saying that Georgia prisons have become much more deadlier in the past 3 years because inmates are either killing each other or killing themselves. And like you just said, she's worried about the D. She's not worried about these people and constituents. But I guess since you can't vote because you're in prison, she doesn't give a shit about them. Right?
Actually, you know what? That's wrong. That's a scam. According to the Voting Rights Act of 1964, Articles 2 and 11, there are no grounds for Black Americans to be denied the right to vote. That is the greatest crime of successful, prominent Blacks in this country, to lie and try to scare us every election that we need to get out and vote. And yet they've allowed 3-4 million Blacks to lose their right to vote to a felony conviction when that's been unconstitutional and not legal for 60 years. It says to you that the accomplished Black people who benefited from all the struggles look the other way when the masses of Black people are destroyed and stripped of their rights. And I never advocate violence against anyone, but until the low level, low income, poor, struggling Black people get harsh and vicious with Black people that are successful, we're damned because they know this. I would just give you a very simple example. And this was proven back in 2017. It's been proven ever since 2017. Another example, they say we need a crime bill. We need an anti-Black crime bill. We already have one. It was put into it. We have a federal law going back to 1870 that's been on the books for Black people. Not one nigger lawyer. I don't respect most Black lawyers. They're scum. Nobody fights for the enforcement of a law that was already passed when thousands of Black people were murdered in 1868 and the first presidential election in which Blacks could vote. A law was put on the books to protect Black people, not just from white terrorists, but from law enforcement people operating under the color of law, like they called, there was this thing called, I forget what it was called when they grabbed the guy, Tyree Nichols. There was some expression that they used for how he was picked up that was wrong. You cannot do certain things under the color of law. It's illegal. And I forget the expression. That goes back to the Reconstruction era. The laws are here. The successful Black people who do not encounter police brutality on the level of working class and low income Blacks are not willing to have common cause with us to have the rights they enjoy at our expense. It's called the Ku Klux Klan Act, the Enforcement Act of 1870, 1871. It was used to round up the Klan that killed that girl in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. Those laws still count. You won't get that Curious George monkey looking dude that runs around suing everybody and settling out of court. You know who I'm talking about. This is a clear case of greed, horizontal hatred, wickedness, and deviance among Black people who can do better that don't do it for the rest of us. It's just that simple. They don't care. And it is our fault. We look at someone, they've got a big income. And this is because we're very paganistic people. We worship money and success and celebrity. If you got a big car, a big house, you're okay. It's despicable. We should stop looking. You got Michael Jordan's got a big house, and these people even leave mansions behind, right? There literally shows that show how some of these Black stars have multi-million-dollar homes. They don't care about them anymore. We have Black billionaires. We have Black multimillionaires. 1 in 6 Black Americans is wealthy. What they do not do is they do not invest in the rest of us, have no desire to, on no level. And we worship them and we do business with them and they do business with everyone else. It is our fault collectively that we care about how much money you have, but we don't care how you use it. So if you spend it with everyone but us, if you do public policy when you're elected for everyone but us, but you're Black first, this is our stupidity. And that includes churches. All across the board, the Black people who have benefited from the civil rights struggles and all of that, they have left us to be eliminated. They do not care. And then the only way we're going to get some skin in the game is when we give them the kind of hell that they allow done to us. Look, certain people like me, you will never see on any certain platforms, on nobody's shows. They can't rebut what I said. They don't want, in fact, the Boule and the other Black elites know goodness well if Black people ever stop being so distracted by crap, wickedness, and stupidity, they're the low-hanging fruit in the struggle for change. This is why you will never hear any of these black lawyers, none of them. I'm no lawyer. I flunked the LSAT twice. I never got into law school. The people there, their allegiance is to the bar. I was doing a show. Let me shut up in a second, Sister Eve. I was doing a show on Press TV when this whole thing was going on in Ferguson. And there was this black lawyer type who they got on the show. And it sickened me to my guts listening to this lady. I'm listening to her and she's just talking about how she knows the judges and all this stuff. This is when this trial is going on for the guy who shot Big Mike. And it just made me so sick. And I said to her, you know, I I I says, ma'am, you know, let me tell you first and foremost, I know people in Ferguson. If you were doing anything for black people, you would have been disbarred a long time ago. So let's just be honest. It's about having sex with people who went to law school, wearing $2,000 suits and going to conferences and complaining how other black people don't appreciate you. You wouldn't dare cross the line with the St. Clair or St. Charles County Bar because they'd bounce you on your fat behind. You're a liar. You're a coward. You cannot rebut what I'm saying because if they're watching, you won't have a job. So you should just shut up and let people who care speak. You know she went silent because it just called her out. You see, I'm a freak. I'm someone that went to elite schools. I couldn't care a damn about black elites because true elites care about the rank and file of their people. The people like me are outcasts, and I don't mind. But I'm saying to you, the people in the in crowd, they are in on the fix that's being done to black people. And so Fani Willis is part of the type of black people that are out to destroy the rest of us. And we can't get it through our heads, even after all of those jabs. And my dear friend, I keep telling you about Sister Eve, Sister Keisha Forrester in New York, who had 26 close family members die between May and December of last year of all ages. They all received the you know what. There are people dying all over the country. You've got discussions among whites, Asians, Indians, and not a damn speck of dissent from the black community because the black successful people got paid to kill the rest of us and they're getting paid to destroy us. This is an agreement that's almost 100 years old. And as long as we say, oh, well, they have the same color as me. Oh, well, they went to an HBCU. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it really doesn't. I was talking about it at the beginning of the space, how they're getting paid pennies to shit on us. And but you know, some of them don't get paid pennies, like Fani. I think that her salary as the district attorney is somewhere around six figures, you know, on the lower end of six figures, but still six figures. And I think that that's a pretty penny to get to shit on us. But as it stands, you know, her coming into office when she came in and then like the first thing she does go after Trump, that all seems orchestrated as fuck. And then from there, you know, if you know that you are the sacrificial lamb, then maybe you're going to get something on the back end for dealing with it like this in the, you know, in the public eye. I feel like that conversation either happens or it's understood.
They do.
They still get their palms greased at the end of the day.
They get, look, this is a conversation that was had the other day, except the gentleman that I was having a conversation with didn't want me to, like, basically, it was too many restraints. A lot of people are aligned. A lot of people in our community are aligned with evil. And that's why I talk about God a lot. And I don't care who doesn't like it. It breaks down the good and evil, God and Satan. And that's an interesting thing about the black elite and the white elite have worked to destroy a concept of absolute truth, absolute right and wrong. Because if you get rid of absolutes, then you get rid of male and female, you get rid of family, you get rid of all that. And by the way, It disarms people. So the one thing that black folks used to have is they at least knew what was happening to them is wrong. We become so foolish and so perverted until we can't see that there are already all the laws in the books necessary to protect us. However, here in Washington, D.C., I can just tell you the experience here in D.C. with all these Negroes with their government jobs. You're hard pressed to find any black lawyers that will represent black people. The good black lawyers that will represent black people, there may be 5 in this city that may have 25,000 lawyers. You may find 3 or 4, which means if you're not very rich, even when you can pay them, they will not represent you because they don't want to lose their relationship with fellow whites. So we don't have it anywhere. Now, even the churches, there's nowhere for you to go for justice. And I will go further. Even amongst so-called black activists, so-called black nationalist groups, some of them with religious overtones, they do not stand up if their palms have been greased, and they've never stood up. Let us remember Malcolm X was shot to death 59 years ago yesterday. And it's interesting, that is the first name I can remember hearing as a baby. I can remember my father found some way to get my mother and brother to be somewhere else. And I remember my dad crying, sobbing over the death of Malcolm X. That is the only time in my life, and I was just a few days old. I can remember it as a child, as a baby. My father never cried over anything that happened except Malcolm X's death, which is strange. I mean, a lot of things happened awful to my father, but my dad and other people know Malcolm was set up. And everybody's been set up. Fred Hampton, Mark Clark, Huey Newton. Everything bad happening to us is occurring in part because of the collusion of people who are paid to kill us. Will they pay other black folks? Yes. Whether it's cops, whether it's bad schools, whether it's putting more fluoride in the water, which kills black people. All these Davitra places in our neighborhoods. You know why we have this kidney failure? It's linked to the fluoride in the water. Nobody will advocate, even that faggot John Lewis. I know because I went to that faggot's office. We went begging. I've been here. If I could tell you the times you go, there's nothing happening to us that they fight. And as long as until someone gets a brick tossed through their window or a car set on fire or their kids get cussed out and spat on in school, not that I encourage it, but you know what? That stuff works. The Black Panthers kicked black doctors' asses to make them provide services. They weren't willing to do it even if it didn't hurt them. We have a selfish, vicious, venal cast of Negroes that hate everybody else. And this is what I despise about the Afrocentrics, the conscious community niggers, and all these other people, is that they always talk about this unity. Our biggest problem is unity. We're unified with too much bullshit. We need to get rid of or get out of our presence people who are not working on our behalf. I've experienced it. I've worked in government. It's like just a little bit of time. Why? There are situations. You lived in Prince George's County, Sister Eve. Rashawn Baker, allegedly a switch hitting, and definitely Omega Psi Phi, by the way, who was head of the Young Republicans when I was a student at Howard, who supported apartheid. Yes, the Greek lettered Negroes supported apartheid at Howard. I was there. Blacks supporting slavery for blacks and genocide for blacks, and proud of it. And they had people, and they had you would be like the lone person thing. Most people don't do anything, but there is a serious struggle between those people who would wipe us out and those of us who want us to live. I just was talking to a friend in Los Angeles about another friend who is an important leader for fighting against abortion. And he, all of a sudden, I knew he wanted to talk about it. And I cut him off and I said, "Yep, he took it. I know." And he said he found out and this is happening all over the country. They don't care if we die. People are suddenly getting aggressive strains of cancer. It starts off at stage 4. Are you people hearing me? What the hell use is stage 1 and stage 2 and stage 3 if the new cancers all start off at 4? Meaning that once you diagnose
with... I'm sorry, I gotta stop you there because I was just talking to somebody about preventative care, and all these niggas, all y'all niggas who go to the doctor every year for a checkup, but then boom, stage 4 cancer. I say that math don't math, and I don't know why y'all niggas are not asking more questions.
Well, they don't ask questions because, one, I'm going to say this. I don't care who doesn't like it. A large number of our people who are in medicine, a lot of them are in the boule. I want to remind people, and I'll keep reminding them, the Tuskegee Project was under the supervision of persons in the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. The white people have apologized. The white racists apologized. Who hasn't said they're sorry about killing those people? Black, successful, elite people. They are unrepentant. They are sociopaths. They are devils. And they serve Lucifer and killing people. It says in the scripture, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. That is what they're doing to us. And when I say that to people, they walk away. They're so glad that I'm the freak weirdo that knows, because so many other people are caught up in the status. Well, my uncle was one. Well, your uncle was an asshole. My aunt, well, your aunt's a bitch. Period. So this really breaks down to, are you for evil or are you for good? And right now, Black folks, they treat morality like music. All I need to do is sort of change the modulation between one song and play it in the club for strippers, and then go to church and play almost the same thing in church. We don't have a separation of sacred and profane, right or wrong. We got everything blended together. It's our fault. And going back to the people dying, this man gets diagnosed in the summer with stomach cancer, dead by November. And I've heard one case after the other, diagnosed with cancer, dead. Dead within weeks, within months. Within months. And nobody, and it's people, bodies piling up, morticians, everybody's got to be quiet. Why? If you kill my father or mother or sister, I'm going to talk about it. What me is Black lives don't matter to us. We want white people to think our lives matter while we don't care about our own. Fani Willis is a fraud. She's not alone. They're prosecutors again to bring in all of these degenerate Black women prosecutors to destroy and lock up Black men and tell that Black woman she's so professional and she's the first, and we're so happy. You know, if it were Black men letting Black women die in jail like that, you ladies would be raising so much hell, and rightfully so. I don't have a problem with people riding herd on men that are wrong, but ladies, who rides herd on you when you're being used against your own? as I'm watching people, and she's a strong black woman. Strong hell. She's a slut. And her father's a fraud too. To call himself a Black Panther and make it seem as if, on one hand, when he was back in the day, he wanted nothing to do. He said that on some interview with the people in Oakland, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale and so forth, and I can get his opinion. But you tell your daughter, but you don't explain the difference between the Black Panther Party of Lowndes County, Alabama, and the Black Panther group that's self-defense, this Black Panther Party for self-defense in Oakland, California, that's spread all over the country. I mean, this man wants props off of people who got shot down by infiltrators and traitors and the FBI and cops. You want props like you're really out there hard for the people, and you hate the very people you're getting the props off. This is the parasitic relationship that you see in America. You see it in Africa. You see it in the Caribbean. You have a leadership that only cares about itself. You have a country that can be rich and prosperous, but only a small slither of people make the money. They're doing business with the Chinese and the English and the French and the Germans and the Americans, and they're starving people within their own country. And their main thing is being hooked up to America or some country to have weapons to shoot down their own people. The weapons that go to Africa that they're saying is to fight terrorism, that's for people who are letting all the uranium and everything being stolen from the masses of African people, for them to shoot those people down when they say, we live in rich countries, but yet we can't afford to live in where we've been. The more profits made off of our natural resources, the more wretched we are. The same thing, the more money America makes, the worse off we are. The more Black American billionaires and millionaires and Black first, and the worse things get for us. Something's not adding up. And what doesn't add up is the success of these few means the disposition of us as the larger group. We shouldn't accept that kind of deal. It's a dirty deal done by dirty people. And all I'm going to say to you about Black Americans, something, in fact, there's a movie that used to come on. It's an old kids movie called The Bad News Bears. And it's a movie on a kids baseball team where the team members hated one another, would lose, not because they couldn't win, but they were self-defeating. Being a Black American is like being on a team where people would rather fight and destroy each other than win. I used to be on the quiz team for my high school. I was perhaps the best in the region in terms of scoring, but my problem was my team members that were Black didn't want to be smaller than me and didn't like the way I did things that may bother the people on the rival teams. Instead of saying, we got the best score, let us all leverage and win, they'd be working against me. I never tried to cut them, stop them. They wanted to stop. They didn't want me to be bigger than them. Instead of seeing the idea, I'm trying to win. I'm not worried about what complexion or class I want to beat. We're losers because we're set up and betrayed from within. And until we get tired of being losers, and I think we've accepted, we're waiting for these dirty, degenerate, Black Luciferian elites to care about us. They're never going to do it. And I'm going to say to you folks, it runs in families. You know, Sister Eve and I have some common ancestors. Within the last 2 months, I learned the most shocking thing is the gentleman that started the English slave trade to Africa is a grandfather of mine. That was quite, I was like, oh my God. And I want to say, and I have other grandfathers, these people, they sold Africans. Yes, they did. They lived in Europe, they had some African, they did not see themselves as connected to people on the African continent or in America. And sometimes they were even brown. And they sold people in Europe and in the Americas and in Africa. We've been getting sold by wicked people, irrespective of what color they were. It was all about money. That's what we got to get through our heads. If you put money before people, then you get a certain outcome again and again and again. Some of our enemies are within our own families. I will tell you this and I'll stop, Sister Eve.
Okay.
September 16th, 2011, at my father's funeral, we had a 2-day funeral for my father. As I was walking to leave, a gentleman in a trench coat, black man, came up to me to talk to me. I didn't know him, seemed okay. And the man had a folder. I have it somewhere in my room. And within the folder, the guy opened up a picture. And it was a group of people standing on the George Bush campus, the main building of the CIA. And they had, the little thing with the spikes that they have on the floor of the CIA? I know you've seen it. There's a group of white people who took a picture for my dad. I had no idea, because of my father getting involved with the clergy response group. They had this in every city, that my dad was working with the CIA, my own father working with the CIA. And I think about the fact that in 1999, they were trying to recruit some of we students at Howard University to work for the CIA. And I got blamed for ruining the project because I said I have friends in the Middle Eastern, I have friends in Africa, I have friends in Latin America. I I can't be in this. I care about humanity. I can't do this. I can't be in your picture here at the CIA. I don't want people to see that I was here. And it ruined their project. What they want to do is have an HBCU CIA project. So I turned it down, but my dad worked with it. That's my own father. I wondered why, when I was going to Libya to see Gaddafi, why my dad was upset. This is in our families, people. That's my dad. I look like him. What's he doing with the damn CIA? Y'all hear me? It's in, you got to really know who you're dealing with. I told Sister Eve about this scammer I've been dealing with. I didn't know this person stealing from folks, able to hack into people's computers. We got a lot of sludge amongst us.
And taking bogus ass pictures.
And
the Photoshop is all
it's
wrong.
all about money. And I'm saying to you, if we as a people remain unprincipled, ungodly, and yes, I said that, ungodly, because I don't see no ethics. I don't see ethics when, if you could write a letter of exemption for someone to evade having to take the jab, why you had to be in that specific religious organization to get help. You preach all this blackness, but when someone black comes to you, they got to be a member in good standing. I personally wrote dozens of letters of exemptions for people to help them, whether I knew them well or not, because it was the right thing to do. And I'd write it for a white person. It was awful what was done. There are groups with nationally known black leaders that would not help people or encourage people to take the risk. This is what we've got, and we've got to get sick of it. Somebody has their hand raised, Sister Eve.
Yes. I definitely want to get to Brother Immortal. Peace to you. Welcome to the space. I don't know when you wanted to, or what part you wanted to speak on, but definitely you have the opportunity to do so now. Go ahead.
Hey, greetings to you, Eve, and Dr. Randy Short, and greetings to the family in the room. Am I able to be heard?
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. So, and yeah, Dr. Randy Short just covered a lot. You know, it is hard to know where to begin, but I did hear him mention the CIA program, and yes, it is set up in the HBCUs. There, you can just go on Twitter right now and do a search and just put in CIA HBCUs, and it's on the rabbit hole of that that's going on to this day.
It started in 1999.
Is technically not a they can set operations here.
Sir, Operation Chaos, the CIA operated against Black people. That's a matter of the public record. Operation Chaos. Oh, all of a sudden my feed's not okay. my camera turned off in StreamYard. Operation Chaos. Chaos. The CIA was involved in spying. The CIA actually, due to Obama, a lot of you guys like Obama, but Obama's responsible for putting the laws in place where the CIA and other people can deliberately lie to the American public through the media. That started about 2013 with the National Defense Authorization. And there's another Smith-Mundt Act, I think it is. Smith-Mundt, Mundt spelled M-U-D, Mundt. It's Smith-Mundt Act. So Obama, the so-called Black savior, all you guys like that pansexual fool, this. And the other thing is, there's a book on Zed Press. I think it's called the CIA in Africa. I have a copy somewhere. They had a CIA base in Douglas Hall at Howard University. I remember. And the faculty member that exposed that the CIA was on Howard's campus got fired. Elite world. Such are ends in my mind. We are being betrayed from within down to who rape our pedophiles, our drug dealers, all of them that are subversive. Anybody that doesn't contribute to our wholeness, to our healthiness, are part of the problem.
No, that's real. Amara, you got your hand back up, so I'm gonna let you go. But then I definitely have some thoughts before we move on. But go ahead, Amara.
Oh yeah. That's just the technicalities, but yeah, when you talk about that, Obama, you know, third generation CIA.
That's right.
First job out of college was a CIA front group.
That's right.
And if you ask me, his whole presidency was a CIA operation.
I agree with you.
They allege that they don't operate on American soil, but they do.
They do.
And so that's so much for that. And as far as these prosecutors, this professional courtesy, I've been kind of want to speak to the title, as the title kind of suggests. This professional courtesy thing is out of control. It's out of control, and it goes in all different directions. And they're able mainly to function that way, from my perspective, because of the lack of knowledge of, you know, the general population about how to use the law, what are the laws. And I think about, you were mentioning the Black Panthers, and a lot of people rarely mention the fact that Tupac's mom was a Black Panther, and she ended up, you know, in prison under charges while pregnant with Pop, and she conducted her own defense, and she won. The woman conducted her own defense and won.
And you're correct, sir. And the government accounting office, GAO, came out and acknowledged that the CIA sold dope in America. The black budget of the CIA, where they fund all their illegal activities against our sisters and brothers in Africa and in Latin America and around the people, they started, the CIA started selling dope in the black community in the 1940s. The black American drug problem is a problem of the American government. I'm not saying we don't have addicts. I'm not saying we don't have people that use. That is part of how the CIA was able to get around its budget limitations, is to sell dope targeting black people in particular through black music. And it's still going on. And it's time for, I mean, for people to wake up and be honest about this. You know,
Dr. Short, you were talking about Black first, right? And essentially that's what we've been collectively across the board. And people weren't saying it like that, but you know, when you look at how they've been moving, you know, they vote for the black person, or you know, they try to seek out the familiar face. And I think that what you've been saying for a little while is that we need to move away from what it looks like and go to what things are, you know, like what is actually happening. And are these black people, are they really black, or are they like,
I think we're working too hard with what people look like. I'm dealing, not that there aren't ethnic groups and all that kind of stuff. I'm not, that's a factor, but what is your character?
Absolutely. I think it should be culture over anything else, because the culture is how you
but it's got to be a
operate.
good culture, so it should be principles. What's good? Somebody asked me about a call-in number. Eve, you're on Twitter, right? For people that want to,
if you want to join the spaces,
they want to join.
Posted the link in your chat.
Well, it's in one chat, but it's not in others. If people want to come into the chat, can you tell me so I can repeat to the people on this YouTube page?
Well, if they just go to Twitter Spaces and they type in Fani's for sale, or if they just type in.
Okay, so if you go to Twitter, if you have Twitter, Zach, you can go to, what is it, Fani for sale?
Fani's for sale.
Fani's for sale. Spell it for me.
FANI''S. There is a peach emoji and then for sale. But I think if they type in FANI''S, they'll find it. Or they can search for me on Twitter. My name on Twitter is @JusticeForJustUs.
@JusticeForJustUs, or you can look for Fani' for sale.
Yes, that's it. If you want to take part in the conversation.
So yeah, the other hands, and it's 410. Let me see, and I'm getting responses here, and so the comment from certain people. I'm not here pushing a religion other than my own. So no, I'm not a Muslim. I'm happily Christian. But they're saying, Bam, the super predator, saying they're messing with the stream. Well, that goes with me. That's how it goes. This person, Mr. Crew or Sister Crow, I'm sorry. The CIA was recruiting students at the university I went to, and it was at a historic black college. They started trying to recruit black students in 1999. And in fact, I got in trouble for it because they claimed I ruined the Howard Project. All I said, I didn't say that people couldn't join the CIA. I simply said I wasn't going to take a picture at the CIA. I had friends that were Sudanese. I know people are Palestinian. If someone saw me in a picture of the CIA, they might think I'm part of trying to hurt someone. And that's not where my head is. I don't want to hurt anybody. I want to live. I want to live and I won't hurt nobody. Let me see.
That's crazy. I was looking at what Immortal said. Literally, if you type in CIA HBCU, and the rabbit hole is crazy. You don't even have to go that deep. But
no, I'm saying to you that the HBCUs, I look, my dad was a chaplain in Howard. The CIA had a project in Douglas Hall, one of the main classroom buildings in the main campus of Howard. This is just a fact. When this came out, what they were trying to do was to get students in political science to recruit Black American, African, and Caribbean students that were in political science or in military science at Howard, and get a cadre of Black American students or students that would be called Black. And for whoever's telling me don't talk Black, please get out of my face. Uh, we didn't make this stuff up. People in Europe did, and we got to deal with it. You have a problem with us talking about this Black thing? Go somewhere. Seriously. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. I got to deal with what is. Now, here's what I want to say to you. What they wanted these students to do was to develop not just political science, but also in psychology. Um, what they wanted to do in psychology was to get people who could do profiles of African leadership that needed to be killed. They were literally looking for Black American, African, and Caribbean students at Howard that could be trained to be able to identify who needed to get killed. Literally. And when this got out, it was a scandal. The CIA supposedly left the campus, and the teacher that exposed it got fired. I will go further to say to you, I have a doctorate in African studies. It comes to the Defense Department, maybe my PhD, the department's probably CIA funded. That's how much money no matter what, you can't. They tried to recruit me to cover up for mass murder in East Africa, right? In Rwanda. I mean, I got offered a really nice job, and I couldn't understand that because, our stuff doesn't just come to us. And I had to talk to people, and I realized they were looking for people like me who look like me, again, Black, for anyone who doesn't like it, who could justify and do public relations to cover up the mass murder of Bahutus in East Africa, in Congo. Okay, I turned the job down, as broke as I've been. This is why I don't have a lot of respect for certain people. They've taken every opportunity to betray. They always were with money no matter what. I get that people need money, but they don't care who gets hurt as long as they get theirs. This is the fundamentals of what happened. And the same thing for the CIA when the U.S. Government attacked Grenada and the students at Howard were protesting the bombing of Libya. There were people with the trench coats. My mother called me. She worked for the school. Stay away from the yard. The agency is there. They were getting the names and also recruiting students to spy on others. We have spies and traitors amongst us. And you'd be amazed at who would do it to you.
No, people shouldn't be amazed. If you recall, not you, but if y'all know anything about our story, there were a lot of people who wanted to still be on the plantation, like after the Civil War and after things are like, okay, y'all niggas can go because we can't just keep you slaves anymore as much as we want to. There was a percentage of niggas who wanted to go to work, right? The optics of having power are now a reality, and you got accountability and responsibility that you have to make up for and use, because you can't blame anybody else when you're the person in charge of how things are going to go for you. Now, I know that's kind of complicated or convoluted, because we still are not in control of any of the resources. So essentially, even though we are free, quote unquote, are we free when we have to ask permission or go to them people for anything that we need? Mm-hmm. However, I think that when we were on our own, we were doing pretty good. Maybe we needed to amp up the protections, the power tools, and making sure that we could keep our shit ours. But the enterprising spirit, the inventions, the ability to create from nothing, I think that scared a lot of people. Real, Dr. Short, I think that power scares people. So it gets easy to want other people to do it, because then you can blame them for why things aren't going the way that they're supposed to go.
I don't think power scares people. Accountability scares people. I want to answer a question. Yes, the internet was put together and controlled by people from the intelligence and defense agencies. It's real simple. Hello to everybody. Um, I'm looking at folks. This is interesting. There are people. We're not trying to do any subjects other than our own. So if folks have an issue, there are lots of places you can debate what's happening. Justice is justice. I want to say to the person, Mr. Paris, yes, we're being overrun by illegals in America, but I want to repeat the Congressional Black Caucus, the all of the so-called organizations that we have that are in the Leadership Conference for Civil and Human Rights are in support of the um, illegal migration into the country. And for all the people talking about any particular countries anywhere in the world, there are certain specific ethnic groups, like the head of Homeland Security. Don't let the last name fool you. You need to find out who's in charge of Homeland Security. What's his background? What's his professional background? Uh, and find out what his ethnic background is. And I will say this to you, something is seriously wrong with the blind support that in fact, I hate to say this, but it's almost defined by this alliance that's really taken place between the Boule and the Democratic Party. They don't have the same relationship with the Republicans. I'm not saying the Republicans are wonderful, but I'm saying that a lot of this really awful, ratchet stuff happens in Democratic controlled areas. The Boule is with the Democratic Party, 100%. There's just.
I think that it's deep, and it goes back to meritorious manumission. Like quite literally, niggas having to do, give, and be at the mercy and courtesy of these people who had enslaved who had enslaved us. And I don't think that that's gone anywhere.
No, it has, but why would it go? The power structure hasn't changed. I want to stop for 1 second. We've got at least, let me see, I see 41 plus 88 is, wow, that just dropped. So we have something like 140 people watching, 130 people watching. On this live stream, I would like for all of you guys to like this. I'd like for you to share it. And I want everybody to know that there's going to be a follow-up. This is a double feature Angry Black Men's Book Club thing today. We're going to be talking about fallen patriarchs. We'll be talking about Kevin Samuels and Malcolm X, their mysterious and horrible deaths. We'll be talking about that starting at 5:30. That's just about an hour and 20 minutes from now. So when Eve's live ends, we're going to start up another live with Brother Quincy, and we're going to be talking about and it'll be similar because Malcolm X was betrayed, and Kevin Samuels, even though it was a compromising situation, who was this person? And there's something quite interesting. So we want you to do that as well. We want to remind you that Sister Eve and all of us that do this, we want people to retweet, to like, share, subscribe, advertise via word of mouth, right? And donate. For all of you that like what we're talking about and getting ideas and information, I watch other people's platforms, and I really like Professor Black Truth. He's he's a treasure trove. We give out gems as well, and people need to support us. In particular, Sister Eve and I are part of a collective of what do we call the New United Black Media Matrix, where we're trying to bring different people together to inform and enlighten people. So, you can kind of figure out what's on. Not that you need people to read the news, but sometimes you need people to help analyze the news. We all don't have the same bodies of information to understand. So the Angry Black Men Book Club, as well as Sister Eve's space, we absolutely want you to share this with others. I don't mind if people get mad. This is not about making people happy. And if this isn't the space for you, it's okay. Oh, you don't have to say anything foolish. You can like leave. I don't crash other people's spaces. If I don't agree with them, I go someplace where I find people that I agree with. As for people, religious questions and all, I always let people know I'm a Christian. I absolutely believe that people need to have some kind of relationship with God, get themselves together, because this is some evil stuff we're dealing with. It won't get better, just so you'll know. Um, I don't necessarily talk about any other persons. I will say this to everybody: share this, think, open your eyes, and don't let this year go by doing everything as we've always done it. Again, like this, share this, retweet it, give it word of mouth. We have at this point about 60. We have all kinds of things between us, between Brother Q, Brother Juan, Brother Chef C, and others. We are putting out on a regular basis information for people to be empowered and to think. And of course, you can donate. If you like what's being shared, if you want people to think, I'm at I'm in Cash App. That's Dr. Randy Short, DrRandyShort, DrRandyShort, or Zelle or PayPal, which is WRandyShort at gmail.com. Don't have a problem. It doesn't have to be a lot. If you do Patreon, my Patreon is Dr. Randy Short. It's fairly easy to help out or to share, but people need to be thinking. I want to say this to you, Sister Eve. You need to be part of it. I'm talking to someone right now because there are concerns that there may be mass communal violence, people coming into the country that may have an agenda to fight against American citizens, no matter what we look like. And we need to be able to talk to one another, which is very important, and then talk to other people once we've talked to one another. It's very, very, very important. Very dangerous things that could happen. Um, Wars in Ukraine against Russia, and was really it's NATO's war using Ukraine as a proxy. That is like a mini world war. It's a mini world war going on between Israel, Hezbollah, Hamas, and all the other people. We're looking at very strange time. If people need to be paying attention to the world in which they live, need to at least know what's happening. And I'm not telling people to take sides, although babies getting killed is bad anywhere, and it's bad whoever does it. And thousands of babies dying, whether it's Sudan. And I want to bring this out to everyone, for all the people in the stream. I'm not addressing any place in the Middle East when a country that is predominantly Muslim called Sudan can have a genocide going on right now based on color, and it's not being addressed. It reminds me of Libya, how that was played down. So to me, uh, I'm not trying to talk about just one country where injustice is. If there's another country in the region with a similar amount of deaths, doesn't matter who happened first. It doesn't matter. The fact it's going on now, you can pay attention to multiple atrocities. So if you've got a hierarchy of who's dying is more important, which I don't, go to another platform. It won't hurt. It won't hurt you, and it won't hurt me. In fact, it'll make you feel better to be amongst people who think just like you. I don't push my agenda on other people's spaces. Other people will not push their agenda on mine. You want to get my attention? Let's talk about Sudan. That concerns me heavily. I've done all I can do for any place, and and I do what I can as a little teeny tiny person. Uh, to me, I'm concerned about the blackout of news for Sudan. At least what's happening, the ongoing crime against the people in Gaza gets attention. The people who are darker in Sudan don't get any attention. If that sits well with someone, the order in which the atrocity started, God help you. I'm done, Sister Eve. Keep it moving.
I appreciate that commercial and I guess intro into another topic that we're not going to talk about today per se. But if you missed what he said, I did throw it in the jumbo. MFM. Where is my motherfucking money? Right. That's what we've been saying. And should you want to support the message or these messengers that is in the jumbo for you, I like to think about media. You were talking about our new Black media matrix, and I think that broadcasting and publishing and making sure that people know what's going on is important. And as it stands, there's a lot going on that a lot of us are not aware of. And then we wait for certain people to bring this stuff up. And then we've got some sort of fake outrage. So I can appreciate being a part of what you're starting as a means of making sure that we're approaching all of these topics with the same level of care. I think that as it stands, I'm Black, and I couldn't help but be Black when I was born because my parents are also Black. You know, that is what matters to me. And from there, we've got an influx of people coming to this country who could care less about my Black ass and your Black ass.
And they shouldn't have to. It will always come back to how do we feel about ourselves.
That's real, because I've had very real arguments with my parents about DACA. And, you know, they are weeping for these children who are not even supposed to be here. And I could not express that enough. They're not supposed to be here. Well, but they're here. No, they're not supposed to be here. But, okay, so when we break the law and then our children are victims of circumstance, they get thrown in the system and nobody gives a damn about them. But these children are supposed to get the fucking red carpet treatment. Fuck out of here.
What you have to say to your parents that have a Black self-hatred issue.
Oh, I've gone even more. I've gone deeper than that, Dr. Short. I told them that if they're going to continue to act like this, I will have no choice but to tell my minis, their grandchildren, they don't give a shit about them. So fuck a Christmas present, fuck a birthday present. How they are actually acting in real life is that your needs are supposed to be put last because of these poor children who are in cages when they're not supposed to be here anyway. And I don't not have a weeping heart. I don't think that should happen to the children. But if their damn parents don't give a shit, why? Why are y'all asking me to give a shit? I really don't. I've read so many stories of parents from these other places trying to get the world's tiniest violin song playing in the background for how they had to send their child on this 1,000-mile journey by themselves. And then on the other hand, you know, there's all of these rapes and murders and diseases coming over here because nobody gives a shit about themselves until they can come over here and shit on us. Like, what is that? You can't possibly expect me to believe that all of your hard work went into fleeing, and that was all the hard work you had.
But maybe it did. But that's fundamentally, we need to be encouraging people. Why not have a social change where you originate instead of trying to have to piggyback off of someone else's social revolution?
Because it's easier, Dr. Short. You know, essentially, we fought for it, right? And the Civil Rights Act in the 60s, we wanted more help because I guess it seemed like that made sense. If we get more niggas here, then we can have a better shot.
Well, actually, we didn't fight for it. The people who fought for that to change were the small hats. And that's what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with us. We got used, and we keep
Oh, for
getting
sure. Just like you were talking about earlier,
we
that
keep
they
getting
put a black
used.
face on it, and then the black face never apologizes for their heinous activity, and then the white people get to say, "Well, we apologized."
But they did apologize, but see, that's exactly my point. If I can get a person who is supposedly so terrible and bad because they're white, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying this is how. Okay, you mean the person that's supposedly incontrovertibly bad, white, says, "Hey, I'm sorry. Let's make amends." But and we're still looking cross-eyed at them. But the black person that's done evil, the same as or worse than, doesn't even have to say anything. That's on us. Okay. I'm not the only person that knows who ran the Tuskegee experiment. I'm not the only person that knows about Dr. Dorothy Farabee. I'm not the only person. That means that there is a degree of comfort that people that we identify as Black Americans are comfortable with internal evil. We don't want a white cop to shoot a 16-year-old, but we don't have a problem if a lot of 12 and 11-year-olds shoot people. We seem to get less ginned up about that than if someone else does it. Frankly, how about nobody kill us?
I gotta push back on that though, because these baby gangsters are not necessarily us as much as they've made us believe that all the black on black crime is black on black
I don't
crime.
think all of it is, but the point is if they live in proximity to us,
Okay, that's true.
we're gonna
and they
and
flood the communities
we will be blamed for it and paid for it. Just like if you've been reading, if I didn't send you the story, that now Chicago, it's gotten rid of its stop and frisk law, but now it's harassing black motorists. As people from other countries commit crimes all over Chicago, the focus is to attack still black citizens.
So, all right, Chicago police traffic stops skyrocket after
Yes.
they end stop and frisk. That
But
makes
but
zero sense.
But no, it makes perfect sense. They're saying for us to get out of the city, they've got this, I'm sorry, this potentially bisexual mayor who loves house music that's always in house parties. That's what you got. You've got a deviant black man who's saying, I don't care about anybody's rights. I've got a good job. And all the other aldermen that are black, can't blame white people, are saying, we're not going to represent the people that elected us, and that's just the way it is. This is a put up or shut up thing that the black elite that are corrupt, that are handing us. And I'm saying again, until someone's house gets stormed, until that happens, as long as we look up to them, oh, they're in the same group as us, we've got to like them, da 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 da, then suck it up. It's a choice. Genocide is a choice, and we're making that choice. We're making that choice.
The question has been posed before, so I'll be I'll codify this so that we don't get any types of strikes. But during the Holocaust, right, would there have been something that God's chosen people could have done to avoid their predicament? And nobody wants to say the easy answer. And the easy answer would be to have hit all of the hot spots when you knew that they were hot spots. But people like to wait, and they wanted to see who was going to do what. Or maybe they weren't going to get me, or I'm the favorite, so they're not going to get me. And the rich ones and the poor ones were all hauled away on trains and to those chambers with the gas and stuff. So
that's not exactly an honest depiction of what happened. Part of what happened, a lot of the people that did not survive what happened, that got hauled away, were people that did not want to go to Palestine. At least I want to say for Germany, that there's a thing called the transfer agreement, wherein If you were willing to leave Germany, the German government would help you move to Palestine, but you could not stay in Germany. There were people who said, "We are German, we are not Jewish. And we're more German than we are Jewish. Germany is our home. We will not leave." I'm not saying people should be driven from Germany, but if someone's saying, "I'm going to kill you eventually," and I had a way to get out with some of my things, I would split to say.
But isn't that what we got going on right now? Chicagoans, Chicago, is that what it is? People from Chicago
it
and
doesn't.
other places
It doesn't.
are being forced out.
No, it doesn't. I tell you why. In Germany, with its 60 some odd million people, if they had 800,000 Jews, they were an absolute minority within a minority. We are tens of millions of people.
Hell of a point.
There's just no comparison. We are being betrayed just like the Jewish people were betrayed by their simulated Jews who didn't care about the broke ones. We have that in common, but our numbers suggest we could do better. Our problem, again, I'm going to say it, is a God thing. We've lost connection to absolute right and wrong. I mean, how there are people sitting up in Chicago watching the schools be closed so people in the country unlawfully can get a place to stay, and veterans and other people put in the street. And that it says that the real morality of Black people is Black Americans. If it's not happened to me, who cares? And no people survive only being about an individual. If you don't have a concept of collective, you will suffer. So it's a little bigger than just me. But Mr. Johnson, when the people approached him, he started talking about his children and their sports practice, not the hundreds of thousands of people impacted by this. We have a thing of only being concerned about the individual. And as a collective, when we focus on the celebrity and we focus in on the exceptional, great Blacks who make it, we ignore those people who are not making 7, 8, 9 figures. We actually, in ourselves, whether we recognize it or not, have contempt for ordinary. All we need to do is look at how people marry, or for I can't get with him. He doesn't earn enough money for me to even look at him. That's obscene. I'm going to count your pennies, look at your car, kick your car tire. That's how I look at you. It's only what you've got. That's sick. And in fact, so if my only worth is if I look at people in my ethnic group the same as a slave trader or slave owner, I see you as a commodity. What can you produce? What do you have? I'm not saying people shouldn't have a skill and ability to earn money, but to dismiss someone and dismiss their humanity based on what they have, which is what we do. It's all in the hip hop music. It's in all these singers. You constantly hear they don't have enough. You don't have this. And the way that people squander our money on stupid things, weave, butt lifts, as if we needed butt lifts, all of this dissatisfaction. In reality, I'm going to just say it to you. Black American people right now hate God for us being who we are. We find nothing to be grateful or thankful for, and we have nothing to fight for, nothing to stake our lives for, because we don't have what other people have. It's the sin of covetousness. I'm not saying we haven't been cheated and robbed, but damn it, work with what you've got. That's not enough. So can't like my hair, can't like my lips, can't like my behind, can't like my complexion. I got to do this. And my car's not big enough. My neighbor's not. This, it's so. And other people look at us as if we're out of our minds. They come here and see gold mines, and all we see is the problems. I'm not saying there aren't major problems, but I think about, again, living here in the DC area, all these people that buy these big homes to impress people, but they can't afford them and don't want anybody in it. They like the idea of having a 10-bedroom house that one person's in. What the sense does that make? And I know some people, they have a right. In particular, we have a very irrational, illogical, emotion driven culture that is it is self-defeating. And if anyone mentions it, like suggesting to people, hey, don't sleep with everyone, having been a counselor, had people attack me. Don't you give advice to young people. And then when people get AIDS, I'm supposed to like give to their car? No. I told you what you did. Look, right? There's a lot of stuff that's terrible. Someone's mentioning human trafficking. We could stop human trafficking. We have an epidemic of trafficking of our women, girls, boys, and crickets. If I told you, I know what it's like to be in a meeting up at the Capitol. Um, all of these women getting grabbed, girls getting grabbed. Do you know not one black female elected official in Congress was willing to be involved at any level to fight human trafficking? These horrible things that happen to women and girls. And I guess that's to show loyalty to Nancy Pelosi. Uh, and so it's when people's money, again, sister and brothers, these people's money is on us getting off. Say this to you. I teach you when I did work for the HBCUs, they didn't want you to really teach. I mean, this is, they don't want, I mean, there are people that look like us that are black. They don't want things better. They won't let people make it. They'll fight people that make it better. Talk to people who've been run out of the school system by people that look like us, not white people. Work for an HBCU, the good schedule, the good offices, all of that went to whites. And black people at Howard not treat everybody, Asians, everyone better than the black people. And that's just, we have an issue of a hatred of ourselves that it's at the core of why we're stuck. It's at the core of why someone needs a brand on their buttocks in some secret organization to feel like there's somebody. Or I need to have gold in my mouth, or a diamond on my teeth, or I need to have my behind enlarged, or I have to have a car with big rims and blast because I feel like I'm nothing. And when you feel like you're nothing, everybody treats you like you're nothing. And if it's a large percentage of your people that feel like they're nothing and that they're not a part of nothing, it brings a whole group down, aside from the fact that people already do not like us based on the history of them stealing the land from the Aboriginals, stealing the labor from the people that are African, and the enslaved more people that were brought over from Europe. We've got to at least cut our losses. It seems like the internal things that we could work on, we choose not to. What's the motto of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference? Is redeem the soul of America. Damn it, we need to redeem the soul of Black America. We need to get ourselves together. It's as if we've got something to tell all the other people how they need to be. We need to be focused in on us. Take care of yourself, and then you can do something for a neighbor. This I know people who get mad. Have you ever had a conversation with a Black American? And the minute you talk about something that needs to be fixed, they start talking about what another group of people do. And I get other people use dope, but we don't have to. With a little bit of money we have, why does it have to go? You know, this is a choice.
Look, the choice is yours, right? I think that people, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about people being afraid of power. I'll add what you said. People are afraid of accountability. But like you said, there are more of us than them. And if people start to accept that, then there's power in numbers. I think about that picture. Have you seen the picture where it's like a bunch of niggas and the world is on their back, and then there's like the God's chosen people on the top, I guess, or the chosen families or whatever. And essentially, it's like when the niggas stand up, then the game folds. And as much as I hate symbols, I think that is a very real concept when we start to take pride and straighten up that back and and show people that we belong where we belong, then we wouldn't have so many people talking about Black
Right.
Lives Matter.
But even Black Lives Matter isn't us.
That's for
over
sure.
over
But
over and
that's a
over.
part
But
of
you know what?
the grift.
But once people heard Black Lives Matter, there were people who were so glad. Ooh, white people paying attention to us. Black Lives Matter. And I knew people wouldn't even let you explain what it was until they burnt something. Then it's it breaks down to, again, hatred of self. It's at the core. If you do not like yourself, if you do not like yourself, if you do not have if you do not have godly principles as a collective, which some of us did, then you're damned. Okay, it's not going to just come. People aren't going to just do things because it's right. It has to be enforced.
So, to, I guess, the main point of why we're even talking today, or at least this part of the conversation, because like you said, he'll be live in about an hour on the same channel he's live on right now on YouTube, the Angry Black Man's Book Club. I think that it is important for us to be uncompromising with our vocabulary. Now, you might not be ready to be outside. As it stands, I've read either in the chat or here on Twitter, where people are talking about the cowardice of the Black American. But I think that maybe if y'all niggas stop voting for people who don't give a shit about you, that might help. But
It
on
would
top
help.
of that, it's if you can't do anything, then maybe you say something, right? I don't want us to be a nation of bystanders and always waiting for people to come do for us when we have shown and proven that we can do for self if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about want. What do y'all niggas want? Do you want to be existing like this, or do you want something more? I think it's a slap
Sister
in the face
Eve,
for women to have credentials, try to use those credentials, and then now they're the spectacle. But it kind of puts a bad light on everybody else who has the same credentials, because what did you do to get here? I'm thinking about Kamala and the knees. She didn't, a couple of years ago when the Warriors came, or she was supposed to take that photo op, I threw it in the jumbo. She said she didn't want to get down on her knees, or what did it say? There was an awkward photo op, and she says, I'm not doing that. But so now you don't want people to associate.
But that's
you
because the camera was there. The camera was there. That's why she didn't do that. And so now the thing I want to just say, this Mr. Brian Brown was saying that Black Lives Matter is GCP. We agree. I mean, GCP, this is a problem, but a lot of our collective prefer. I was in a classroom, wow, decades ago in Oakland, California, and we were talking about the situation facing Black Americans. And somebody said, what do we need? And they says, well, we need unity. It says, well, maybe we have that. Well, no, maybe we need it, but we have something else. And I put a J in front of it and spelt out Junity. And as long as we have Junity instead of unity, we're in trouble. And I define Junity as Black Americans being, our leadership being dominated by people outside of our community or persons who are not indigenous to our community. That's Junity. And Pan-Africanists promote Junity. The NAACP, a lot of people are promoting. We've had Junity. The Boule is into Junity. I'm against Junity. I don't want any Junity. Okay. So, and these are the concepts. Don't you like that concept? Speak up. You know you like that Junity. Come on, y'all. Y'all love that.
That is so funny
But
because
and that's a
as it
term I've been using.
stands, at the last reparations meeting that I was at here in Virginia, the delegate that's on the commission task force, she starts talking to us about how we have to work across the aisles. But then she wasn't talking about Democrats and Republicans. No, she was talking about God's chosen people and how it's one of her best friends. And, you know, it's just this unity all around. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, okay, so if what she said, if I call her right now and we're going to march, she's going to be right here marching with me. Mm-hmm. And I laughed, and I didn't mean to laugh so hard, but I laughed because, damn it, nobody is trying to march for some shit that we've already done the math on, the calculations are in, mm-hmm. and continuing to double and triple because of how long it's taking these people to pay what's owed. And I think that it's a bunch of these olders who are still in office, mm-hmm. and we have not gotten comfortable knocking them off the pedestal.
Yeah, we have to. You know, that's the one thing about COVID and the vaccine, as horrible as it is. The one thing that I really appreciate is it's helped do some of the heavy lifting of our advancement. It's really it's improved the health of us as a collective.
I agree, and people think that I'm fucked up for saying such a thing, but I was also fucked up for not taking part in the experiment, and I'm still here.
Well,
so,
you know, as I said,
don't know if I made the wrong decision or not.
What can you do? I know what it's like to get cussed out by people, and I didn't say to people what to do or not to. I only said, research, look at, consider. Would you like to talk to medical professionals who have thoughts? I know what it's like to be in who was my cardiologist's office, and she says, why are you like you are? What? And I said to her, she was a very rude Black American woman. You know, I'm gonna tell you when it is. Pushy, feminist type Black American woman, and I just said, there's 1,291 side effects, enough of a reason for me to have a concern. You know, she shut the hell up, and she never bothered. She did that in front of my mother. Says, Mom, notice that when I mentioned the side effects, she didn't contest me. She was actually nice to me. I wasn't a stupid patient.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know,
now I got a question.
To my whole, concern about there was us doing the preventative care with them.
Yes, we should. This sister, Michelle N., wants us to talk about Fani Willis's hoochie mama behavior in the court, you know. As I said, and you know, my name for her, everybody, is Fani Clitis. Fani Clitis.
Gotta make it sting.
Fani Clitis. Yeah, can y'all say Fani Clitis, angry boys and girls?
You gotta say it.
Fani Clitis. I mean, it looked inappropriate to me. Her hair wasn't really done, and her dress was too low. I'm glad I wasn't there. You could probably see her goodies if you were there. I mean, why would you have a dress with a hemline that low? And I'm thinking,
she's trying to remind people how she got where she got.
Well, look, no, my point is when you have to use the public's money,
be a bad bitch.
But if you got
to do all of that,
if you've got to use the public money to buy a private penis, you know, you could have gone to the gym and done some stuff. Work on yourself.
Absolutely.
Instead of that, but Fani Willis she acted like a lot of people, but what Fani Willis's mannerism said to me was that she comes from a Black American culture of impunity where when people get a little bit of education or money, they can behave any way that they want. There's not a sense of decorum. I'm not saying that people have to be perfect, but everybody that knows me knows I'm a big freak for Motown. Not because people were saints, but the presentation of Black women as elegant, regal, feminine was wonderful. I'll tell anyone see Diane Carroll one time go up a flight of stairs. I'll never forget watching a woman go up a flight of stairs. As long as I live, that's how much grace she had. It's been over 25 years, and I can remember seeing Diane Carroll go up a flight of stairs. There is a beauty and a regality to femininity and proper conduct that is the crown for women and men to carry yourself like basically a stripper that got a law degree is inappropriate. That's sad. So she made all the black women look bad, but there seems to be a slut culture of making black women look bad. And anybody that tries to say anything hates women. It's sort of the new anti-Semitism is to suggest that women don't have to be weightlifters. Women don't have to you don't have to kill babies. You can be a housewife. Anyone that suggests that gets attacked on all sides. So I'm really not surprised. I expected her to behave like that, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's disappointing, but it's Lizzo. It's Sexy Red. It's a lot of people that are terrible, that are absolutely terrible, and they and Michelle, it's up to start holding women accountable, and women have to demand. You know, One place that used to teach something, churches, the women are so busy trying to be like the men in church until on the watch of feminism. Feminism has been the greatest enemy to women and children and families and the unborn. And women have been silent about it. On their watch, the families have died. Everything terrible has happened to women. And instead of things that are substantive, like women getting paid, women getting access to credit, women getting the real stuff that they should get. I mean, this woman's movement has gone over for this trans and all this other stuff. And so in the name of pushing what these people have called womanhood, you now have men being the women. This is insane.
And that's why we can say very comfortably that feminists hate women. But
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
they hate biology. I think they hate common sense.
They hate God. They hate men. They hate womanhood. Proof
they
of
hate
that.
themselves.
Yes.
Right. So
If the feminists were about something, they'd be in the leading the charge to fight against the trafficking of women and girls. Where are they? I have no respect for feminists. It's the enemy. Feminism is satanic. It's Luciferian. And God had an order. He made woman for man, and man is to protect and care for woman. Feminism says women don't need men, and women got this covered. That's insane. Men and women insane. Need to work together. This not. We need each other, and babies. Life starts at conception. I hate abortion. Abortion's murder. If you're a feminist, you think killing babies, God's going to judge you. It's absolutely wrong. Wanting rights for women is absolutely right. Wanting women to be men is wrong.
Absolutely. Men should but I don't love. Even think that that's where they were going. I think it was more about. Well, I know that they definitely got the penis envy going on. Yes. But it's they don't want y'all to be men. They want this asexual, transgender fake to be able to do it all across the board. Be a stay-at-home situation and also be the breadwinner. Mm-hmm. I think about Dwayne Wade's son. and how
that's
last year or
terrible.
the year before last, he was dating a girl who was transitioning to be a boy. So the shit was really weird because he's a boy and she's a girl, but that's not what we see. You know, we see a boy dressed up like a girl and a girl dressed up like a boy, and the shit is so backwards that.
But they're making money
can't
off
make
of
that
it,
math
and
make sense.
everybody's proud of Gabriel Union. She's an awful person. People should boycott everything that Gabriel Union puts her name in.
Agreed. Maybe we'll have to do something on her
And this guy's
in the future.
Someone's talking about the Black Lives Matter mission statement. It lets you know how horrible it is. It's terrible. It's terrible. Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with Black people. Black Lives Matter is wicked. Nobody should be involved with it. And I'm going to say this: all lives matter, but within that, all lives include Black lives. Everybody's life matters. And actually, it starts with us. In fact, all lives matter, include the 20 million babies we've aborted. I'm going to stop here because, I can continue, Sister Steve, but I know you've got children to take care of.
Yeah, definitely got to go get the minis from
So
school.
you're going to stop.
But I think this conversation has been lively, and I appreciate the people in the chat who contributed to the conversation, because I don't know everything. Never try to act like I know everything, but I do have thoughts about some of these things. And Fanny's for sale, that slut culture that people want us to acclimate ourselves with and get comfortable with, it's so devious when you think about the reasons why. You look at the numbers, the global numbers of the people that are around us, and how, again, there's more of us than them. So, if you take us out in different environments, or you start infiltrating and making us think that we're less than, it's almost a self-starting mechanism at this point. They haven't really had to do anything except for pick a special few, let them know that they are the special few, and let everybody else know that you're not.
Yes. Well, let me see. And we've got 6 minutes to 5 o'clock. What is it? 6 minutes to 5 o'clock. We're going to stop in a second because I'm going to take a break as soon as 5 comes. Everybody that's here on my live, I'm going to resume maybe at 5:20. I'm going to take a break, just get some water and do that. There's much to talk about. I want to let everybody know that is in the YouTube, that one YouTube channel, that they can come into the Angry Black Men's Book Club, and I think that you would get a stream there, and I can at least interact. We'll pretty soon, not too far out in the future, we'll be able to take calls from people. We'll be working that. As for Shay, and for all of you, Rodney, Mizell, and for Eric, who said evil has no color, you're exactly right. Nobody here ever nobody's heard me say that any color is neutral to evil. In fact, my thing is deal with the evil that I'm closest to. Okay, start where you are. But I want to thank everybody for participating. Sister Eve, I know you've got 5 children to pick up. I'm so glad you had every one of them. We're going to have another conversation about 25 minutes with brother Q. Jesse Parrish, for people that want us to come on platforms, my email is all over the place. If I don't know why people would rather talk to me when I've got a crowd than email me, but my email is real. Someone put up a comment, faith in Christ alone. Well, I believe in God, and I'm gonna tell you, folk need something, because this is really evil. These are evil times. I'm going to say to people, I let you know I'm a Christian, a Bible believing one. Don't let the cussing fool you. We absolutely need God. We need something. There's so much evil arrayed against us, and without something supernatural, we're in bad shape. We need something greater than ourselves. So I want to let everybody know that's a Christian that on Sabbath we do assault, and we're talking about getting ourselves together. We do that typically around 3 p.m. on the same channel. And I think because, my joke is that we were better off with white Jesus. I'm thinking of having a white Jesus gospel hour on Sunday for all the black people who just can't show the same honor to Jesus Christ if he happened to be a man of color or a black man. But man, when Jesus was white, we was like on our A game. So I'm thinking of bringing white Jesus back so we black folk can have families again, and men will be men and women will be women, and we'll stop killing each other. If you've ever worked any place and when there was a black supervisor, the black people wouldn't respect him, but they would respect the white supervisor. If it works the same way around deities, then I'm going to bring white Jesus back to save my people, man, because I'm so frustrated. Yes. A couple of days ago, when I bought my white Jesus, it's upstairs. I'm going to bring it down and show my white Jesus. I may even kiss him in front of y'all just to spite all the people out there. Um, I asked my mother for a white Jesus image, and she said, "You threw them all away." And I says, "God, I was stupid. I should have kept my white Jesus." Because, actually, I got rid of the white Jesuses in the house back in the 60s. I was a kid. It has to go. I was ahead. I realized people like you, Eve, we're ahead of people. There are a lot of folks that are still with white Jesus, and we're too far ahead of them. So if I have to get into white Jesus to be relevant, to reach out to my people who can't believe, they talk all this black pride and all, but if Jesus Christ doesn't look like Brad Pitt, they're not going to live right. Then bring back white Jesus. If I have to do it myself, drag all the angry black people kicking and screaming, we're going to have a white Jesus because you'll obey him. You'll respect him the way that you won't do it for a black one. It did say he came into his own and his own received him not. Hell, if that's not a description of us. Anyway, I'm Dr. Randy Short. This is the Angry Black Men's Book Club. We want you to retweet, to like, to share, subscribe, support, which you can do by word of mouth or by advertising. Share this with people and donate. It's very easy. I'm Dr. Randy Short with the $ in front of it is a Cash App. My Zelle and PayPal is wrandyshort@gmail.com. My Patreon is Dr. Randy Short, and there's Randy L. Short if you like that. That is another Cash App. And if you like our Sabbath service, because Sabbath is the actual day you're supposed to pray as a Christian, that's the real day. It's Salt Ministry DC@gmail.com. And so we will continue. In fact, we're going to do something on Saturday. It will be on Fani Clitis. And I'm saying Fani Clitis. I don't have to say her name right. She doesn't administer justice right. I talk about her like the trash she is. So we will be doing something on Fani Willis on Saturday. We will also be doing Salt Ministry on Saturday. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a book thing. I'm going to bring out a book. I haven't done books. I've been trying to work to move this channel forward. I want to thank all of you for some 70,000 views that we have, close to 1,400 subscribers. We appreciate everybody that's helped us get to that level. We're working. You're going to see some things change. And again, pray for your country. Pray for peace. Pray for unity. Pray for self-respect. Pray that this country doesn't have a civil war. I've been in Congo. Civil wars are ugly and bloody. A civil war can have a race war. You can have all kinds of craziness go on. We don't need this country to go to hell. We don't need to be a part of it. Black Americans, stay out of the fight between Republican and Democrat. Black women, stop being the face of opposition to Donald Trump. I don't care who doesn't like me. Donald Trump won. The election was stolen. If they try to steal it again, we're going to have real problems in this country. I'm black and proud. I will vote for Donald Trump. I did it 3 times. I do it 10 times. I don't care who doesn't like it. I've had family turn their back on me. Keep your backs turned. I don't need you. No, Donald Trump isn't perfect. He did win. Stay out of conflicts between other ethnic groups. You don't have to get involved in what's going on in the Middle East. You got enough mess right here. Pray for peace, but that thing has been going on since Ishmael tried to take out Isaac. That's all in the books that are not in your Bible, but we'll talk about that another time. Again, I'm Dr. Randy Short, closing out on the Angry Black Men's Book Club. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And God bless America. God bless Black Americans. God bless the world. Peace and love to everybody. I'm out of here. Bye bye, guys. You guys be good. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you, Dr. Short, and
World, peace and love to everybody. I'm out of here. Bye bye, guys. You guys be good. Thank you for coming.
appreciate you, Dr. Short, and to the room. Like I said, I like this conversation that we had today, even though he didn't really participate, but that's okay because sometimes it's a lot. And with the information that's being given, sometimes it is not time for you to talk, and that's okay. But I do hope that something that was said tonight, this afternoon, moved you. Because if you're cool with the black face and a high space shitting on you every day, then I guess that's cool. You know, maybe you just get an umbrella or you wear some shit protectors. I don't know. I'm not cool with it. I'm actively speaking up about what's wrong, to my detriment, I guess, if I'm the only one out here talking about it, at least here in my neck of the woods. Maybe you're speaking up about it in your neck of the woods, but I don't think fannies should be for sale. Actually, I think if you want to sell your fanny, that's cool. You know, you just got to be honest about it. That's where we are. Honesty. 2024.
Okay. And for all the people, my email is available. It is very, very easy to contact me if you genuinely want to. I respond to emails as long as it's appropriate and what people are doing. If it's foolish, I'm not going to talk to you. I want to let you guys know I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. I'm going to open up another live, so I'm going to close this stream.